Republicans control the Iowa House, Senate, and governor's mansion. They needed an extra 3 weeks past the scheduled end of the legislative session to finish up this year. Now, they found final agreement on things like tax changes, masks, a proposed constitutional amendment regarding abortion, and also spending about $8 billion of your dollars for the coming year. Two key senators will join us on how lawmakers reached those late-night final agreements, what those changes will mean, plus the $2 billion plus in federal money that could still be available for the state. And in the Insider's Quick Six, a legislator's prediction that she sings.
From your local election headquarters, this is the Insiders with Dave Price.
A lot happened late at this year's Iowa legislative session. Lawmakers dropped those triggers that they previously required so that the tax cuts can now happen without the triggers that would have required revenues to increase by 4% annually first. Also, Iowans making up to $90,000 a year can qualify for state child care tax credits. Used to be only up to $45,000. The state's inheritance tax will phase out over 5 years, and the state will fund mental health services instead of your local property taxes. I asked two senators how they view what will now change the most, and we start with the changes with tax policy.
The biggest two is accelerating the income tax cuts and making them permanent, particularly from the border communities here. You know, our income tax rates are disproportionately higher than our border communities. This is a huge step for all those areas, and for all Iowans as well too, to bring down those rates and get us in a more competitive spot and make it permanent and predictable as opposed to on some moving targets. Number two is mental health funding. That was probably the things that took probably the most work for us, and I'm really proud of the plan that we came up with. Absolutely. So there's a lot of numbers crunched in there, figuring out how it's going to affect regions and everything. So those are two of the entire package, the two things I'm the most proud of, and I think that will impact Iowans most positively.
We'll get into mental health here in a second here. How hard was it? I don't mean to ignore you, but you know, they're in the majority.
But I have plenty to say about the taxes.
You all, on your side, on the Senate side, you were in favor of getting rid of the triggers from a couple years ago that were part of those original tax cuts, while the House seemed a little more resistant for a while until this last compromise. How difficult was it to get the House to come on board with this, to let those triggers go so these tax cuts could kick in automatically without hitting that 4% growth threshold?
Well, I'd say Senator Yoakum had a front seat at this one as well too. So she, to say it wasn't difficult would probably not be giving the situation credit. We ran, I think, 3 different triggers bills here to make the point within the Senate. But I think it's a deliberative process with each body as well too, right? And you know, as the REC numbers came in, as we continue to see the economic revenues come in, I think there's a certain comfort factor from the House where they could understand where the Senate was coming from on permanent, predictable tax relief. So.
Yeah. I'm sorry, Senator, this was something that some of the Democrats, frankly, were fine with, getting rid of these triggers right here.
Yes.
So what's the mindset that kind of changed over the years from we need these triggers to now we don't?
Actually, eliminating federal deductibility, which is what the triggers are doing, is something that Democrats have actually tried to accomplish for several years for the limited times that we've had power in the State House. So the fact that we are now looking at hitting that 4% probably before the date in the original bill anyway, and that our revenues are supposed to hit $8.3 billion coming out of the Revenue Estimating Conference, we feel pretty comfortable in doing that. And I think it does make Iowa's tax system look more competitive. It was artificially inflated when you have federal deductibility as one of the features of our tax policy. We're one of only 3 states that actually allows that. So we have always supported eliminating federal deductibility, lowering all the rates to what people are actually really paying in the system, and let the truth be known on what our tax rates really are in the state of Iowa. A lot of our economic development people over the years have also asked us to make that change. And so that was not problematic for us. That was something that we've actually have agreed to for a long time.
Okay, one of those other negotiations that was tricky involves obviously the mental health changes here. So how did you convince the House in the end that letting the state take over this instead of doing this with the property tax levies is the way to go, because this one took a while to get them on your side too, right?
Yeah, it did. And
We need like a behind the scenes. We should have had all these private meetings televised.
well, you know, I guess for the behind the scenes is first we have to make our product look right? And that took a little bit of process as well too. I mean, all these regions are different. They have different levies. They have, you know, a lot of them have surplus revenues in there too that they're drawing down on as well. So for us to put any package forward, we have to make sure our product looks right. That was one of the first things as well too. That's not something you come up with overnight. And we did a lot of numbers crunching, a lot of working with the regions, asking, you know, this is what we're looking at for the per capita distribution. Does that work for you, right? You know, and if it doesn't, we were going back to the drawing board again. So by the time we passed that bill and we sent it over to the House, that process almost starts over again, where they're trying to understand the deliberative process and trying to understand the numbers as well. So to get the House credit, you know, it's not an easy task, and I'm sure, you know, Senator Yoakum, you know, from a caucus standpoint, when they were trying to break down the numbers too. But in the end, I think the biggest point we always try to make through this all along is that, you know, from any House member, you know, anyone in the Senate, right now we have a disproportionate spending amount in Iowa on mental health depending on your zip code. And it just wasn't, it was a fairness issue, it was an equity issue. And so once we made that statement and planted that flag in the ground, I think that's when kind of negotiations came around a little bit as to, okay, you know, how can we build up a better mental health funding system? So
let me ask you both this. Tell me if this is fair or not. There is going to be a certain level of trust now in our legislature to make this work, right? Because now that the state's responsible, then it will be up to the legislature to make sure those dollars come in. So Senator Yoakum, how can people feel comfortable that that support will be there regardless of which party's in control?
Well, Dave, that was actually one of the biggest concerns we had as Democrats. So I actually hope this new system works. I do. And I know
And this is like everybody else does it now, right?
Pardon me?
The way that this will be funded, weren't we the last holdout on this?
yes.
Sorry to interrupt you.
No, that's okay. So I actually hope that this works. I do, because too many people with a disability or with brain health issues really rely on this system. Here was my concern. On one hand, in the bill, a promise that we made in 2013 as a legislative body was to the local governments that when we change the property tax system for commercial property and industrial property, revenues were going to drop for local governments, and that we would make up that difference by backfilling that lost revenue. I understand valuations are going up, and I also understand cities and counties and schools have gotten some COVID relief dollars, lots of it. But there's also a lot of strings attached to that federal money, as there is to the strings attached to the money the state received from the federal government for COVID-related issues. The problem is that now we have reneged on that promise from 2013 in the same bill. So we're not going to be providing that backfill to local governments anymore. And at the same time, we're making a new promise that we're going to fully fund the services for mental health and disability services at the local level by buying out the property taxes that we're paying for this system. That's a concern. The legislature does not have a good track record, a historical track record, on making good on those promises. And what was interesting is one of the senators during the debate said, well, you know, I talked to, you know, one of my law professors, and they said that what a legislative body does today does not bind a future legislature. I said, exactly my point. Who knows who will be here in 5 years in these seats and understand what happened today and why we did it, and that they may decide we aren't going to fund it. The economy is tanked on us. We're going to have to figure out how to balance a budget, and that's going to get cut along with many other items in the budget. I believe that kind of a dramatic shift in how we're going to fund and deliver those services needed to really go through the Human Resources Committee and the Health and Human Services Budget Committee, then to the Tax Committee, then to the Appropriations Committee, to really make sure it was fully vetted and that we had all the ducks in order to make sure it was going to work. The only last thing I would say is that back in 2015, when Governor Branstad, then Lieutenant Governor Reynolds, privatized Iowa's Medicaid system, I said then, and I meant it sincerely, as I do today, this change is wrong, but I hope it works, because if it doesn't, an awful lot of people are going to be hurt.
I know we get in the weeds a little bit with the committee process, but is that a fair point or not? Or are you comfortable with the way you all move forward on it?
I'm comfortable with the way we move forward because from our standpoint in the bill all along, it was a funding mechanism. This wasn't a larger policy bill on trying to change regional structures or deploy new service things that you might see in those committees. That's the point I always made on day one, is that we are going to fix mental health funding here within the state of Iowa. My goal wasn't trying to get into larger structures, because those are policies for the Human Resources Committee there. We've had a lot of candid discussions where there's probably need some more additional policy considerations going forward, but that I don't believe is the role for the Ways and Means Committee the role of Ways and Means Committee to figure out the current funding stream. Let's not forget, the current funding stream on property taxes right now is going to fail. There has to be another way forward, and that's where we came into this session, knowing that this structure is not sustainable, which is why we're the last ones in the nation.
Yeah, and during the subcommittee process, I know that there was a lot of people weighing in. There were probably, 100 people that zoomed in on that subcommittee meeting. So we had a lot of people that were interested in this issue, obviously, during subcommittee work. But one thing that I do know people were suggesting is, can you come up with a hybrid plan? In other words, and I talked to my own regional person in eastern Iowa on what she meant by that. And she said, well, a hybrid plan. You know, lower the rates for property taxes, because it's a sustainable, reliable source of revenue. Regardless of the economy, we pay our property taxes. So just give us a base level, whether it's $10 per $1,000 evaluation, just something so that no matter what happens in the economy, there is this base level of funding that we can rely on. And then have the state come in and fill in what the rest is needed to make those services work.
On the most basic level here, because this can all get a little wonky and nebulous and stuff, I realize you two get this, but for those at the end of the day who want to know, Senator, this new way of funding this, what additional level of service will be available to folks that is not available now? Like, what's the change that people are going to see day to day?
The structural change is not on services, it's on funding. There's a lot of regions, and the state code in the past few years, that we've done a lot on new mental health plans, but those have largely been mandates, I would say, and not funded. This bill actually provides the funding for some of those things. I would say mandates, but requirements we've had in the past for new services. Again, this is not a policy bill. This is keeping the promise of what we've done the last few years on children's mental health and adult mental health, requiring new services, things along those lines. This is the follow-through on providing funding throughout the regions.
Well, Senator, I appreciate that. On the other hand, this legislature created the children's mental health system 3 years ago, and we have yet, as a legislative body, we're responsible for that children's mental health system. We haven't paid for it. So we have a lot of work to do. I honest to God, with this major shift, obviously you can't provide a service if the money isn't there. So we have a lot of work to do, and I'm praying to God that this is going to work and work okay.
And more work to do as they return home for now, but they'll have to come back in the fall to approve that new redistricting plan to set those boundaries for the next decade. Now, what about all that federal money still arriving for COVID-19 recovery? We'll ask about that next.